Namaste. Whoops. That's at the end. Ready? Let's try it again. Namaste Nrsimhaya. Rtadhvaja. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatam Kanakalai. Ito Nrsimho Parato Nrsimho. Yato yato yamitato Nrsimho. Baye Nrsimho Hidaye Nrsimho. Nrsimhadev sadanam prapaje. Tavakara kamalavare nakam abhuta singam dalita hiranya kashipur tanubringam Keshavajita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavaka. Tavakara kamalavare nakam abhuta singam dalita hiranya kashipur tanubringam keshavadrita narahari rupa jai jagadisha hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev, Nrsimhadev, Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Nrsimhadev, 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 Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Bhakta Prahlad, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prabhajak Acharya Astatara Satashi Shiman Divine Loving Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premse Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shivandavan Dham ki jai. Jamayapur Navadvip Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan Yagna ki jai. Jainatai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale. Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve. Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvasesha. Deshatayane. A very nice garland, but very big and very heavy. I think Radha Kalachandji must have been holding on to that. Excuse me. It's on YouTube. Temple live. Yeah. Oops, I just put away what I wanted to keep. I generally don't do much research before I give class. I usually just use the commentaries on the different books that we read during this time and use that as my outline. But because today is a special day, I decided to look up some things about Nrsimhadev, Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj, etc. like that. Now I'm going to do something else. Man, that's the way I feel. I just lost my ability to express myself. You've heard me say that before. You're in a kid's body and somebody comes and tells you, don't be a kid. You're in that kind of body, what can you do? But it's appreciated. They can play that someplace else. One of the things I looked up was the meanings of Hiranyakashipu's austerities. And it's summarized in 3 or 4 bold statements. But overall, his austerities symbolize the dangers of misusing power and the consequences of defiance against divine will. So his austerities symbolize dangers of misusing power and defying the laws of God. For the desire of power, Hiranyakashipu's extreme penance stems from his desire for power and immortality, highlighting the lengths at which one may go to achieve personal ambitions. A type of blindness that he had, thinking himself to be immortal, which he wasn't. Of course, he made some deal with, I can't say deal with Lord Brahma, but he went to Lord Brahma and asked for some benedictions so that he could be immortal. And the first thing he asked what Lord Brahma was, I want to be immortal. Because Hiranyakashipu had performed such austere penances that his whole body was shriveled up, and the soul was existing within the bones of his body. And due to that extreme, what do you call it? Not austerity, but penance, austerity or penance, a fire came from the top of his head. And from that, even the higher planets were beginning to become disturbed, which generally don't become disturbed. So they went to Lord Brahma and said, can you help us with this one? And Lord Brahma said, yeah. So he went down and sprinkled the little holy water on Hiranyakashipu, and he got a new body. Dazzling body. And so when he asked, I want to become immortal, and Lord Brahma says, I can't give that which I don't have. I am not immortal, so I cannot give immortality to you. It's like if somebody comes to ask me for $1 million, I don't have $1 million, so I couldn't give it to you. You ask me for $5, maybe I could help out, like that. And so this was such a strong desire to have this type of power, and his understanding of power was immortality, so that he could just rule the way he wanted to rule and achieve his own personal ambitions, which were many. So the next point is consequences. Before I go any further, I forgot to ask, is there anyone here for the first time this evening? We'd like to welcome you. If you're here for the first time, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you for coming. How did you find out about us? How did you find? Well, one of your friends told you. You're from where? Oh, Portland. Okay. You're here on vacation? Oh, okay. Well, thank you for coming. We hope you enjoy your night here tonight. Number 2, consequences of excessive ambition. Hiranyakashipu's austerities serve as a cautionary tale about how excessive ambition can lead to hubris, ultimately resulting in one's own downfall. That hubris means like an extensive amount of pride or confidence within oneself. And so when Lord Brahma gave those benedictions that I won't be killed in the day or night, I won't be killed inside or outside, I won't be killed by any human, any man or beast or whatever, and I think there was one more. Inside we did that. Weapons. Any type of weapons. So, because he had this benediction, see, he thought he figured out a plan. Everybody's immortal, and these are the things that make people die. So I'm going to just ask him for benedictions that will prevent me from dying. And in so doing, Lord Brahma, you can have it. You can have it. I want to be immortal. No, I want to die not inside or outside. Okay. Not by any weapon. Okay. Not by any man or beast. Okay. Not in the day or night. Okay. So many different things he came up with to try to avoid the inevitable. And so this type of, what would you call it, austerities, there's this thing says cautionary example of excessive ambition can lead us to have false confidence in ourselves rather than having confidence in the Supreme. That's where our confidence comes from. Our strength comes from our relationship and acknowledging our relationship and engaging in our relationship with that Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's where our strength comes from. Just like Hiranyakashipu became so angry because he was trying to get his child not to be in the Hare Krishna movement. He didn't want him to be a devotee of Vishnu. And he had a good reason. Anybody remember the reason? Yeah? Yeah, Vishnu killed his brother. So the avenge of my brother being killed. And so, getting that confidence, now he thinks, okay, Vishnu killed my brother, now I'll take care of Vishnu. This overconfidence, this overestimation of oneself. It's not that we're meant to have low self-esteem. We're meant to have high self-esteem. I can't say words. Esteem. Yeah, esteem. That was the word I could. Sometimes they don't come out right. There's a little. And so the esteem we have is that we are connected to a disciplic succession that gives us the ability to understand our position as eternal souls, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and that we have an eternal relationship with Him. And as demonstrated by Prahlad Maharaj, that faith can protect one from the most dangerous types of fears. Nehabi karmanastuti patruvayanda vidyate swapam apyan sudharmasha jayate mahato bhaya. Mahobhaya, from the dangerous fears. Any engagement in devotional service can protect one from the appearance of the death. We won't lose out. So when we have this excessive, you can even say pride or things like that, it literally will lead to the downfall of our ambitions. We're meant to keep them normalized. So the third thing mentioned in this part for the austerities is this story emphasizes the importance of maintaining cosmic balance. That's why yada yada hi karmasya, that Krishna comes when there is an imbalance in the material universe to set everything straight again. That's in the Bhagavad Gita. They're meant to, he comes to establish religious principles and annihilate the negative or the demoniac, those who are demoniac. So in order, it emphasizes that the cosmic order has to be in place. And because he created it, he also wants to have it running properly. So when it's not running properly, then at those times he appears. So maintaining the cosmic balance and the inevitability of divine intervention against tyranny. There'll always be tyranny. There'll always be people who are, I guess we call them asuras, demoniac nature. Sometimes they come into power and they literally terrorize the citizens. You look at the history of the world, so many disturbing facts. I mean, the more you study the old history that we didn't get taught in school, we become more and more amazed at how cruel human beings can be. So what happens is that type of, what would you say, balancing of the universe is, it leads to Krishna's appearance, or the appearance of Lord Nrsimhadev, who defeats that demoniac nature, who sets it in balance. It's imbalanced. The asura, or the demoniac nature, is so strong that all the normal, good people are being terrorized. And so the Lord comes and switches it back to the good side. This one comes up quite often. The contrast of good versus evil. Hiranyakashipu's austerities contrast with the virtues of devotion and righteousness. Devotion and righteousness are their goodness. They're meant to bring out the good of people. But here we see how Hiranyakashipu wanted to misuse everything. And it also being described here, the contrast with virtue of devotion, worship being described as righteousness, and the other one being called demoniac. It's like what we have going on inside, the struggle between good and evil within ourselves. His Holiness Rtadhvaja Maharaj often will tell a story of the two wolves. One's a good wolf and one's a bad wolf. And it comes from a Cherokee, and I think if I remember right, it comes from the Native American Cherokee tribe, child asking his grandfather, about life. And the grandfather says there's two wolves, one good and one bad. And the grandson says, well, which one wins? And he said, whichever one you feed. So if we feed the negative stuff in our hearts, if we feed that criticism, that negativeness, that all those unwanted things that reside within our conscious, within our heart, if we feed those things, maybe we don't even know we're feeding them. Because the nature of material energy it's very sneaky. It can sneak up on us in a moment. It can sneak up in a moment, and we don't even know. It can just be something you don't even perceive. I'll give an example which I've given before. When I was a child, we had movies, but it was movie reels. They were like different pictures taken together and lined up in a row, so it made it look like people were walking or jumping or dancing. And then, because the movie industry also wants their consumers, their visitors, to give more of their money, they have a concession stand. And so what the movie theaters used to do in those, I'm sure they may do it something like this now with videos, but they put a few frames of a Coca-Cola in that thing, but it'd be just like a split second that we wouldn't notice, but the brain sees it and puts it in there. It just puts that Coca-Cola in the brain. And then a minute or two later, it'll have a couple of slides of popcorn. You don't see the popcorn. It's just there. Now you got Coca-Cola and popcorn in your head. Then what happens is that they have a ventilation system over the popcorn machine that throws the scent of popcorn into the movie theater, which makes everyone salivate, which means they have to get up and go buy some popcorn and a Coca-Cola. And they don't even know why, because they were told to do it by their mind. But they didn't know that the mind had been tricked. The mind had been literally tricked by the material nature. So the reason I bring that up is like a moment of inattention in our spiritual practice. Prabhupada said a moment of inattention is like when one is shaving. Any inattention, you can be cut and it causes bloodshed. So inattention, this is what this is the main problem for us chanting the holy names. Inattention. Because from inattentive chanting comes the other 10 offenses. This inattention what we have while chanting Hare Krishna can cause us the first offense, the second offense, the third offense, the fourth. They can just go on and on and on because we don't have attention. And also, we don't have the proper intention. We need the proper intention when we're chanting. Our intention when we're chanting the holy name is this is our time to commune with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we're not supposed to have any other distractions besides the holy name going within our consciousness. I know sometimes I see during kirtan, people will be chanting japa in the kirtan. So what are they listening to? Their japa or the kirtan? You can't listen to both. Sometimes I see, even during lectures, some people may be chanting while someone is giving a lecture. So what are you listening to? The lecture or your chanting? You're either inattentive to the lecture, or you're inattentive to your chanting, or you're inattentive to both. And so the point is to come over and make the proper intention, that priority of Krishna's holy name, of our activities in the spiritual life on a daily basis, are prioritized around the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Because it is by this chanting of the holy name of the Lord that one's heart can become cleansed. When the heart becomes cleansed, then we can actually understand ourselves as we are, spirit, soul. We can come to the point of understanding who we are in our relationship with Krishna. It's a very beautiful thing. Just like I'm now reading Brihat Bhagavatamrita, second, and it's describing how this chanting of Hare Krishna leads us to the highest realm of devotional ecstasy in relation to the Krishna and the cowherd ladies. It's through this chanting of the holy name. It's also connected, if you look into other aspects, it's due to the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Nityananda coming just 500 years ago that allows that to enter in through the loophole of Kali Yuga. There's a loophole in Kali Yuga. We don't have to do any austerities. We don't have to stand on our head. We don't have to hold our breath. We don't have to look like a pretzel. We don't have to do so many things. Simply chant Hare Krishna. And by that simple chanting of Hare Krishna, one attains perfection. One attains perfection. So we try to avoid these 10 offenses. But the way to do it is to always be attentive. And this is this process, it's a spiritual science. It's not a faith or belief. Actually, today I looked up what's the difference between faith and belief. And now I can't remember. I looked up mercy and grace one time. Mercy means that I have the ability to give you something. When you're over, like kids, they'll play that game when you try to get and you have to say mercy. But grace is just given freely. Whether I got you pinned down or not pinned down, I just give you, I give you my grace. And so the idea, what we talking about, what was I saying? Belief in, huh? Yeah. Our chanting, we chant 16 rounds a day. If your intention is to practice Krishna consciousness as we do in this temple, or you may chant 6 rounds a day or 1 round a day, wherever you begin is okay. If you just chant 1 bead a day, if you wake up and just go Hari, you're on the right path. And so the point being that the reason we chant the holy names, and we chant for about 2 hours. We spend about 2 hours chanting the holy name to fill our consciousness with Krishna, so that when we go about our normal daily activities, or may I say abnormal daily activities, because this is not a normal place to be. We're in jail, or as I described yesterday, we're all in a hospital. We're all diseased. The disease is identifying ourselves to be this material body and to seek pleasure out of this material body rather than through other relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through this process of communing with the Lord through the chanting of the holy name. And so this is the benediction that is given for this age, because this age, no qualification. The only qualification in Kali Yuga is we don't have to have qualification. We don't have qualification. And by the process of Harinam Kirtan, or Harinam, through the chanting of the holy names, be it Kirtan or Japa, or whichever way we want to do it, is the process which will, it literally guarantees our path back to the spiritual world and beyond liberation. Liberation just means Brahmajyoti. So there's no more pain, there's no more, we don't even exist, we don't even know. It's just nothingness, oneness. So this chanting can bring us into a very, very wonderful sphere. And like we're talking about Nrsimhadev and Hiranyakashipu, and how his austerities contrast the virtues of devotion to Krishna and working ourselves throughout the day. When I say we want to be attentive or let's have an intention that we don't forget Krishna ever. That's the first rule. Always remember Krishna and never forget him. Always remember Krishna and never forget him. That's the rule. That's one rule. No, remember Krishna and don't forget him. So that means that when we're brushing our teeth, we're meant to remember Krishna. When we're sleeping, we're meant to remember Krishna. Anybody here ever have a dream of Krishna? Yeah. One of my friends had a dream of Krishna. And Krishna was walking with his friends by a peacock, and the peacock didn't open up, so Krishna grabbed him by the neck and all his feathers came out. That's a pretty good dream. And so when we're working, when we're dealing with our family, when we're dealing with the society outside of the spiritual realm, this material society, then we have to follow the rules of material society. We're not exempt from them. We follow all those rules and more, because we have this the glory and the glory of the holy name and this disciplic succession that we have. That is some of the lessons that we learn from Hiranyakashipu's austerity. And now this story comes up many, many millennia ago. Hiranyakashipu, Lord Nrsimhadev, millennia ago. So it's just like sometimes people will say, because we have Bhagavad Gita, which was spoken 5,000 years ago, what benefit does it have today? It's spoken 5,000 years ago. Of course, most people have the assumption that we were not, some people don't even think humans were on the earth then. Some people say primitive forms or whatever it may be. But the Bhagavad Gita was spoken by the Supreme Lord to Arjuna. They were personally together. And when Krishna says, Man manam avaman bhakto, he's pointing to himself. He's not pointing to some space in the air. He's actually pointing to himself. Always remember me. Think of me. Offer your obeisances to me. Worship me. And Krishna's going like this. He's pointing to himself. And so that has value today. All the instructions of Bhagavad Gita are there it's like having the combination to the safe to get into the ability to perform devotional service in this material world so we can extract ourselves from the material energy. So how does this story, or this pastime, I guess we'll call it, of Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad, and company resonate with modern life? So the first one that came up was resilience in adversity. Prahlad's unwavering faith despite facing persecution echoes the struggles many face today. The unwavering faith that Prahlad had facing so much persecution and stayed steadfast in his position. See, a lot of us have to go outside the temple to earn a living, or to go to school, or to do so many other things. And sometimes we think, I can enjoy it there, I can enjoy it here. And so if we can understand the resilience of Prahlad Maharaj, we don't face anything in this material world practically as vile as that was given to Prahlad Maharaj. There's also some descriptions of the meanings of all the torturous things that Hiranyakashipu arranged for his son. And so, regardless of our external pressures, that's what it means. We don't break our faith due to external pressures. And this is very important because as parents, if we can show that to our children, that they'll also have that ability. And if we don't show that ability to overcome the adversities of the external world, the pressures, they won't be able to either. Children learn by example. And there's so many examples we don't want them to see. So many things taking us away, just like the little Coca-Cola things and the different popcorn things. There's so many things going on around us at every moment that we're not aware of them. And they're beating us down. These are kinds of pressure. This is external pressure. And only thing we can do is absorb ourselves, or at least acknowledge that I have the ability to choose whether or not I want to be absorbed in material consciousness or partake, maybe not even absorb, but partake in material activities, or I can do spiritual activities. And by doing those spiritual activities, we get the right benefit. By doing the material activities, we slowly wear away our faith. We slowly wear away our strength. We slowly wear our ability to say no to material energy. So another one is the conflict, again, between authority and our individuality. Because there's a tension between Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad. Of course, Hiranyakashipu represents evil, and Prahlad Maharaj reflects goodness. So Prahlad reflects modern challenges, how he reflects modern challenges, such as conflicts within authority figures. We have conflicts with authority figures. Say the children may have conflicts with their parents, or the parents may have conflicts with their children. Or when one is pursuing one's own passion and beliefs, he may find out there is some conflict with something. How to overcome these conflicts between authority? You're going to work, most people have a boss. Most people have a boss. Unless you're the boss, you got a boss. If you don't got a boss, your mind is a boss. Your mind will boss you around all day long. And so we can do this. We can actually understand how to handle the. See, we don't want authority. We want to be completely independent. We want to be bereft of our relationship with God. Yesterday, during His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj's Vyas Puja, I was quoting from the 5th chapter, I think it's text 15 or 14, the purport, where Prabhupada says, due to our immemorial desire to avoid Krishna, we become bewildered. We, by our immemorial desires, those things that are infecting the heart, since time immemorial, we've been trying to avoid Krishna rather than trying to find Krishna. We're trying to avoid him. So now we have this process in Krishna consciousness that's being offered, whereby we learn how not to just try to avoid Krishna, but find the goodness in the value of the practices of Bhakti Yoga. This practice of Bhakti Yoga is amazing when one really partakes in it. See, in Bhakti Yoga, there's a lot of, Bhakti is the yoga of love and compassion from the heart. And people who want to just be dry speculators or just some other activities, they will say those who follow the Bhakti path are just doing the easy thing. They just sit around, they chant, they dance, they eat, they chant, they dance, they eat. Little philosophy on Sunday evening, they chant, they dance, they eat. And Prabhupada would say, if it's so easy, why don't you do it? Just like in the 12th chapter, Arjuna asked Krishna, which is best? Impersonal, going for the impersonal understanding of God, or going to understand God as a person? And Krishna says, go for the second one, understanding the Lord as a person. Because if you go to this first one, trying to understand empirical speculation, just like it's not this, it's not that. All empirical knowledge or all empirical speculation, all it does is tell you what God's not. Nati, not this microphone, not this flower, not this phone. It tells you all those what God isn't. It doesn't tell you what the Lord is. The Lord is our eternal companion who resides within our heart and observes all of our activities and permits us to do whatever we want to do. Even though we're trying to avoid him, he doesn't force us. He doesn't force us. He allows us to stay in jail if we want to stay in jail. There was one show when I was a kid. One guy was always in jail, and every time he got out of jail, he would walk down the street and break a store window. He'd get picked up and go in jail again. His name was Finnegan. Finnegan. His name was Finnegan, and he's in the jail. And so that's what we're doing. We get a little bit of taste, we get a little bit of activity and spiritual or devotional practices, and then we go out and break the glass, and we find ourselves back in the material energy, affecting our consciousness. Whereas if we don't go out and break the glass, we can proceed through this world unaffected by material energy. Prasadi sarva dukkanam glanir, that in the second chapter, by my grace, we can cross over all these obstacles, Krishna says, and not be affected by the modes of material nature. Just imagine not being affected by ignorance, passion, and goodness. What an imagination that is. That's what you call freedom. Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants to be happy. And if we're not connected to Krishna, we can't have a steady mind. And if we don't have a steady mind, we can't have any peace. When the mind is running around because we're not connected to our spiritual, what would you call it, our inherited spiritual nature, if we're not connecting that to the Supreme Lord, then our mind goes crazy. The mind can't do it, so we can't have any sense. And if we can't be peaceful, Krishna says, you can't be happy. You can't be happy if the mind is going 100 miles an hour trying to tell you something that you don't want. I don't know if this is appropriate, but it was a song in the 70s. And it was called Give Me That Thing. It's kind of like what the mind does. And now the whole song was, give me that thing, give me that thing, give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that thing, give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that thing. And that was going on for like 2 or 3 minutes. That was the whole song. And that sounds like my mind. But the only problem is, it's not a 2-minute record in my mind. Mine is, as we say something, oops, Krishna, Krishna, Radhe, Radhe, Sham, Sham. That's okay. What do they say after give me that thing? Yeah, it's ongoing. Just imagine, here's one of my friend, Roy Jampabu's examples. It's okay, Mataji, don't worry. Imagine if I took this microphone, which is connected to the speaker, and connected it to your mind, and it was broadcast around the room. How many would dare to enter this room? If you have to get a microphone hooked up, don't worry about it, Mataji. It's okay. This connection to the microphone, to the mind. None of us, I mean, we'd all be in infirm, what do they call that? The place where they take people that don't, insane asylum. We're all insane. Every one of us is crazy. Because crazy people identify something that they're not. Sometimes somebody may think he's a dog and just come in the temple room and start barking. It happens. They identify themselves with something that they're not. But if you walk into the temple room and think you're male or female, you're not any better than the person that thinks he's a dog. Not any better than someone that thinks whatever. We have to identify ourselves as our spiritual self and progress in our life based on that. We don't even call it assumption, that fact or that knowledge that is given. It's like I was saying before, this is a spiritual science that can be verified by practice. All we have to do is be a volunteer for that the theory that we experiment with the chanting of Hare Krishna, following the regulative principles, worshiping God, and we'll see a particular result. We'll see a particular result. And according to the intensity or the strength of our intention, that's how much we'll get from Krishna. What's that verse? As you go up, everyone surrenders unto me. Etamam prapajante tam sataiva brajamyam. As you surrender unto me, I reward you accordingly. Anybody here think they should get the top award today for how they're approaching the Supreme Lord? Anybody here not think they should get the award? Yeah, we understand. This isn't to try to understand when I speak. I'm speaking to this person right here, and that's going like this into my ears, and I hope it goes deep in my heart so that I can remember what the content is after that's all over. And I share that realization or those things that I learned through my study and through my practices with all of you. So that if you have anything in your life which is a challenge, we have a solution. We have a permanent solution. Modern world, right? Here it is. The importance of faith and belief system. This is like, what value does this pastime of Nrsimhadev have for our modern society? It is the importance of faith and belief system, to have a system for that. And this pastime is a significant of personal beliefs and faith. That's what it's, this personal beliefs and faith. In a world filled with uncertainty, we are in a world of uncertainty. I mean, Oklahoma has been having earthquakes. We could have an earthquake right here and the temple could collapse upon our head. We don't know. Anybody feel safe here? I mean, truly safe? Really safe? That adhyatmic, adhibautic, adhidaivik are not going to affect you today. The three types of miseries. Miseries from our own body and mind, miseries by other people's bodies and mind, and miseries by material nature. Earthquakes, fires, floods, you name it, whatever. Each and every one of us are under at least one of those kleshas, if not two, if not three of those kleshas. We can't avoid it because that's the nature of the material world. And so having a strong faith or belief system, and that system means a scientific process by which I engage in the process of bhakti yoga, working my way through the different layers of sediment on my soul, which I have been gathering throughout millions and millions of lifetimes, helps us go through this. And it literally, that beliefs and faith, that I didn't even like those words, faith and belief, because I think this is more sound than that. It's not a faith, it's not a belief. It's a fact. It's a fact. We are all spirit souls. Maya Vangso, Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We're all individual spirit soul, part and parcels of Krishna, eternally. And the Supreme Lord himself says it. And all the authorities, all the previous acharyas confirm that. And so we can just build that relationship with Krishna. And the more we build that relationship with Krishna through the process of chanting the holy name and activities of bhakti yoga, that faith becomes fructified, and we feel so safe and confident in ourselves because we're not ourselves, but in the ability of the Supreme Lord to do what he has the best interest in us. He wants to protect his devotees. He says that in the Bhagavad Gita. I am here to protect everybody. Maybe we'll do one more good and evil. Or of course, Hiranyakashipu represents evil, and Prahlad reminds us of moral choices we face daily. Anybody here ever face a moral a moral decision in their daily life? Nobody? One, two? Anybody face a moral decision? We have to face moral decisions in every moment. Because the mind, just imagine, nobody here wanted to be in the temple room with the microphone on their mind being broadcast over here. And so the idea is that there's a lot of immorality going on within our minds. There's a lot of immorality going on in the mind. It's time to flush it out. Chaita darpanam marjanam baba mahagni nivarpanam. This chanting of holy name cleanses the heart of all the dust, all the debris, let's say garbage that we've collected over millennia, hundreds and hundreds of years. It cleanses it out so we can see ourselves as pure spirit souls and get rid of all that wrongdoing that the mind wants us to do. So we are faced with moral decisions every day, practically every moment. Oh, I thought it said one. I thought it said two, one. So this whole thing, this whole pastime of Nrsimhadev, it just supports justice and compassion. Because justice was given to Hiranyakashipu, and compassion was shown to Prahlad Maharaj by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.